Greetings, friends. A very important moment. The connection with God exists in everyone. This is true, whether you want it or not, whether you know it or not, but you live for only one reason. He bestows upon you His grace and provides you with the opportunity to live. Therefore, the connection with God exists as long as you are alive. But that connection, which yoga itself speaks of, as many traditions say, is that the body is like a flute, and Krishna plays on your flute, on the chakras, but your flute is clogged, your chakras are not working, so Krishna cannot play with you. And in this analogy, I perceive the genuine truth. I perceive a highly direct and accurate conceptual analogy of what an individual is, a little lost, confused by the current events unfolding in the world, perplexed by what is happening in the present moment, what we are witnessing and observing in the news media reports and broadcasts that are disseminated to the public. But this is madness. This is, so to speak, absolutely pure madness in a specifically defined form. What to do? We must start with ourselves. In other words, we are unable to educate others unless we have a thorough understanding ourselves. And in order for us to comprehend something ourselves and somehow perceive our madness, we need to acquire the skill of observation. The beauty of the observer lies in refraining from making judgments. That is, as soon as we are able to detach ourselves from the processes of the mind, from the processes of emotions, from the processes of physiology and so on, I simply observe without any interference or judgment. That is, by observing myself, as yoga says, observing the position of the body, I begin to realize what pose, what asana my body is in right now. Yoga states very clearly and simply, every single asana carries a distinct state. In other words, during yoga practice, individuals naturally strive to assume a specific position that accurately reflects their current mental and emotional state of being. That is the reason why individuals often stand with their arms crossed or reach towards their head, or in some way try to indicate their own thoughts, feelings, or opinions. Hands positioned behind the back, hands placed on the back of the head. That is, they are attempting to convey their state using the asana they are in. Well, now there are new trendy trends in body language and so on. Yes, that is, gestures there, something else, and they try to tie it all rigidly. Yes, like the eye twitches, the eyebrow scratches the nose, there, something else lies, the ear twitches. Well, I will tell you, my friends, this may have a direct analogy. Well, in some cases, it may not have any specific analogy. Maybe indeed a person's ear itched. Regardless, gestures and body language are beautiful, provided that we can observe and be aware of them. As an external observer who controls the body, we don't look straight ahead. To enter the flow, you need to shift your attention backwards. Then it will be easier to be aware of the area of the back of the head or the area of the sacrum. A person's attention is often drawn there, where they tend to focus. Beautiful girls usually attract others' attention to this area, while their attention is absent there. Accordingly, foreign consciousness tries to impose its own order there. Naturally, emotions and desires arise. How the endocrine system adapts to the information that enters the overall field structure. In any case, my friends, we are currently in the process of separating from our physical bodies. Emotions are the next closest to the body, the etheric astral body. Emotions, too, we can observe. Accordingly, we are not emotions, just as yoga states quite simply that you are not this if you perceive it with your senses. In order to see, you need to be separated from it. You cannot be that, because you can observe it. You cannot observe yourself, so you need to be separate from it in order to see. Accordingly, if we can observe our thoughts, it means we are not our thoughts. Accordingly, you can observe the one who observes, including thoughts. Becoming more intriguing, isn't it? And if you achieve success in this endeavor, you can attain that highly fascinating and much desired condition where consciousness observes itself. This is what Osho writes about. This is what many enlightened individuals talk about. And in particular, I can confirm that indeed, when you enter a certain state of satori, you stop perceiving yourself as a social character personality, the one that says I, that starts with I want, I will crush now, it will be my way, and something else, right? And you transform into something that lacks a specific center point, losing all sense of a defined core. So this door starts to open and continues to open. If you manage to center yourself back in any way, you will remain a normal person, while the connection with God is no longer closed. No, not at all. But you at least see your center, and in relation to this, you can express yourself adequately. If you are unable to find your center, you will descend into madness and lose your sense of. And most probably all the people around will state that you have achieved enlightenment. There are multiple aspects present here on which I would like to put special emphasis and attention. When the apple reaches maturity, it will detach itself from the branch and gracefully descend, making its way to the ground below. Understanding this moment is incredibly vital, as any attempts to enlighten are akin to an apple striving to ripen more swiftly. Hence, it is imperative to relax and let the natural process unfold, recognizing that hastening it is futile. So if you have discovered your center, if you have recognized yourself as an apple on the tree and experience a connection with this tree, remain connected with this tree. Remain in the understanding that in actuality, each inhalation and exhalation serves as your link to the encompassing space, as experienced through your physical body. Every single second of observing your body position is an act of mindfulness that enables you to bring order to this body through osteopathic manipulations that you will feel, and they will naturally engage when body awareness and consciousness grow and develop gradually over a period of time. By observing the body of emotions, in accordance with that, you can enhance your understanding of your own emotions, your level of involvement, your focus, emotional centeredness, attachment to something, and dependence on something. It will become visible and clear to you, thereby facilitating self-awareness and personal growth. If you genuinely comprehend this region, you have the ability to eliminate these dependencies. If you do not comprehend them, they, in accordance with that, shake you at regular intervals. And if you have reached the level of observing your thoughts and truly observe your body-mind, observe the fragmentation, observe the subpersonalities, how they change, do you really see it? Accordingly, your body of the mind becomes a kind of, well, not exactly a Rubik's Cube, but let's say a controller which has specific goals, tasks, and priorities. A certain personality in this body of the mind, it becomes stable. And already all possible options in critical situations, or some jackets, subpersonalities that you can wear when you need to, and you have the ability to put it on and take it off when you need to, allowing you to step out of the role or put on that role when you need to. This is already a serious conscious piece of work with the body of the mind, because if you do not tidy up there, it is a mess in your head. There is simply a multitude of unfiltered, unseparated, and unorganized thoughts present, lacking any coherent structure or organization in any way, shape, or form. So there are multiple layers of subconscious noise, by closely listening to which you can perceive not only certain phrases, certain songs, obscene ditties, certain rubbish and garbage, certain swearing, certain blah blah blah, and certain background sounds. Certainly, the greater amount of time you spend on it, the deeper you involve yourself in it, the less noise they make. Because if you truly realize, if you simply introspect, if you look within yourself at that subpersonality that speaks to you, whispers some episode or something happening, seeing this subpersonality, highlighting it, bringing it to light, it disintegrates, it falls silent, it becomes quiet, humble, calm, and that is the natural state of order where inner harmony and tranquility prevail. They are able to exist solely in darkness, within the realm of the subconscious mind. The consciousness light, at the very least, has a calming effect on them if they have a positive nature. or at the very most, it causes them to disintegrate if they possess a negative character. In any case, buddies, the connection with God is primarily based on consciousness. It is the aspect that has the ability to observe and register information. This is the element that imbues everything around you with spirituality. This is the element that keenly observes and takes in. In the experiment, where this electron is moving, and as long as there is no observer observing it, we observe a wave, and we see that he behaves through quantum mechanics, expressing and drawing a wave pattern for us on the screen behind. And as soon as we start looking at it, he flies in a straight path towards the target and draws only one line, which serves as an indication that he behaves like a particle in terms of his movement. Consciousness is the fundamental element that transforms quantum entanglements of informational presence into a tangible and experiential reality, bridging the gap between the abstract and the concrete. And from the concept of superposition, it draws a specific location. It would be good to understand that it is God who brings order to matter through his consciousness. That's why people live. Connection with God is the awareness of consciousness. That is, when you observe the one who is observing. This door, sadly or luckily, only opens from one side, from inside. In other words, if God has chosen you, he will open this door for you. If not, there are a vast number of our practices and techniques that you can do to approach this door. In principle, you can simply observe yourself. If you do not have any external energy informational damage, if you do not have entities, some other elements that will not allow you to approach this door, not even close. In principle, you have the ability to handle it independently if you are pure and simply have some separations or other nonsense inside. You can figure it all out with your own consciousness without relying on any masters, teachers, mentors, gurus, shamans, or anyone else for guidance or assistance. Approaching the door, there are, so to speak, many doors. But the real door, there is only one. This is also something to know. And all of these pseudo-doors are frequently simply temptations that can lead us astray and divert our attention from our true path in life. They reflect a certain essence of reality, but this is just one of the slices of that informational energy realm that truly and undeniably exists in our tangible and observable reality. If you open the appropriate door, without drugs, without garbage, you will not only see these worlds, but also other worlds, countless worlds that truly exist, innumerable worlds that are undeniably real. Once again, through observing the observer, you will reach the realization that there is nothing, but we are present here, living alongside you and observing all of this. Yes, because there exist certain laws, informational laws, the organization of God's consciousness, which divides itself into a multitude of these laws. Yes, thereby generating a wide range of worlds and diversity within our world. Maybe there is no need to be aware of and understand all of this. Perhaps it is enough to simply observe oneself and cultivate consciousness a little, to be a bit more sober, right? Abstain from consumption. Neither alcohol nor any substances. I will not even mention drugs, not even cigarettes, sugar, or other substances. All of them hinder, all of them disrupt the normal functioning of consciousness. These are all attachments that take over control. Your profound inner essence of emotional movement, yes, and you are unable to remain centered in the emotional body, to be balanced, because you are already being pulled in a certain direction. There is a longing for something. It is simply tedious. I am waiting for something, yet nothing is happening, and nothing should be done. You exist, and that is already a divine gift. If you understand this, you will never be bored. You will never have to wait for anything from the perspective of observing yourself and your surroundings. From the perspective of someone alive, Yes, there are unpleasant episodes, waiting, and other things to experience and get involved in. Here, as Buddha said, there is a very fine line. If you loosen the string completely, it won't play. If you tighten it too much, it will break. The same applies in life. If you discard all restraints entirely, you will not be able to sustain your existence. You can't live if you completely fail in the enlightenment that Osho talks about. You can't even become like him. You'll simply be an inadequate vegetable. If you get too involved in these bonds and start tearing and pulling everything, yes, showing that royal inner strength, yes, ego, well, you see what happens to the world. This is the ego, this is the Rajasic. These are forces pushing against each other. Madness. People murder one another. Thus, consciousness is certainly the crucial factor. And one must find a certain equilibrium and comprehension to this crucial element, where it genuinely represents a middle ground, a verity and accuracy, and where it has already exceeded the proper balance. Regrettably, there are no standards for this equilibrium in the ordinary world. In a similar vein to the criteria for modifying health, it can be said that health is a somewhat vague and elusive notion. Some tests, etc., seems healthy, many reasons, missing which this seemingly healthy person may become completely unhealthy in a few days, and in a month be elsewhere, in another place, in another world. Therefore, I believe it makes sense to observe the processes that are happening, the causes that are at play, and at the appropriate moment in time, to release certain ties, burdens, and attachments in order to avoid real health problems that may arise in the future and have a negative impact on one's well-being. Once more, my pals, I suggest to you, on a personal level, I prioritize physical well-being. I believe this is a significant thing that enables an individual, in theory, to observe oneself and contemplate what he is capable of in this world, how he can accomplish it, what he can attain, or what he can comprehend. In the absence of good health, my friends, it becomes challenging to achieve anything worthwhile. So, be mindful of your health, practice meditation, observe yourself. Having a connection with God, friends, this is the crucial factor.